Showed awesome stand-up. Mixed it up with a good seasoned kickboxer. Probably had more rounds than him, more time in the octagon, and still went out there and showed a lot of everything. He threw everything at him. I mean, he hit him with everything.
Line him up.
Elbows, knees, kicks, punches.
Jamal Sweet Dreams Hill was born May 19, 1991 in the mean streets of Chicago, Illinois. Notorious for gun violence and gangs, early childhood was not easy for Jamal. At the age of 12 he moved to Grand Rapids, Michigan and started developing his athletic talents. In 2017, he focused on turning pro in MMA and passed on a potential career in basketball. It is easy to assume Hill had developed his striking on the streets of Chicago and Grand Rapids, and this served as his amateur background, where he would go undefeated at 10-0. This history instilled a fearless mentality in Sweet Dreams.
Oh man, like a street fighting story?
Yeah, go on. This is what people want to know. They want to know a bit of the background. Obviously, we all saw you just knock the fuck out of Johnny Walker.
Which one is the one I already told? I think I already told a couple of. I think I told the one where like 8 dudes tried to jump me. I had to fight like 8 dudes by myself. I done had to fight like 12 dudes by myself. Like,
you need to stop hanging out by yourself.
That's what's fucked up. I wasn't by myself. That was fucked up. I wasn't by myself.
Get some friends, Jamal. What the fuck?
His first 4 fights were in knockout promotions and would take place in the span of 9 months. His first fight would be a decision win. In his second fight, he was able to find a TKO while landing heavy shots on his opponent. His third fight was against William Vincent, who had a 3-6 record. Sweet Dreams would dominate the majority of the fight and was close to referee stoppage multiple times. In his next fight he was booked against 19-7 Daquan Townsend. This fight was not only a significant step up in competition but also Jamal's first 5-round fight and for the KOP Lightweight Championship. Daquan boasted 12 knockouts in his 19 wins, but Jamal Hill would show no fear and push the pace forward at the start of the fight. Halfway through the first round, Hill would be dropped by a crushing left hook and Daquan would smell blood in the water, but Jamal would hold strong and make it back to his feet and show his wrestling prowess paired with heavy ground and pound. Jamal would set the pace for the rest of the fight, outstriking Daquan and landing with higher impact. Hill would win the unanimous decision and leave KOP behind. Jamal would face off against William Vincent for the second time at Lights Out Championship 2. Hill would end Vincent's career in the first round. At this point the UFC became interested in the heavy-handed American. July 23, 2019, Hill would get a shot at a UFC contract in Dana White's Contender Series against the 9-2 Alexander Popok. Jamal Hill would show the diversity in his skill set for the first time in this first round, working a nasty Muay Thai clinch striking exchange. Hill would pull Popok into knees that caused the fighter to crumble. Hill advanced position and landed effective ground and pound until referee Mark Smith was forced to step in and stop the fight. Hill's future in the UFC was left in the hands of Dana White.
In the second fight, when the fight started, the first thing I said about Jamal is this kid needs more experience. You know, he's only got 5 fights. He's 5-0. You know, this kid can work on his game and he can become a really good fighter. I think this kid can be talented someday. Then in the second round, he comes out and shows me a completely different fighter. All right, so the second round, body work, the striking, the pressure, the composure. You know, he put it all together in that second round and completely changed my mind. And I said, okay, I'm bringing this kid in. Come on, Jamal.
Hill's next fight would be against the then 13-3 Darko Stosic. Stosic was rebounding off back-to-back losses and looking to right the ship. Sweet Dreams would easily pick apart Stosic from range and defend takedowns to earn a unanimous decision. Hill would remain humble in his post-fight interview.
Life is good.
Jamal Hill, you're a very confident guy, but you brought that confidence into your UFC debut. How were you able to do that?
It's just a belief I have in myself and my team and the people that rock with me. I have the best team in the world. I got the best people behind me in the world. Like, look at this. You feel this energy? How could you not?
Jamal's next fight would be against the 26 and 14-0 Vince St. Preux, who was ranked 15th in the light heavyweight division. This would be the first real test of Jamal's capabilities at the upper echelon of competition. The veteran OSP has served as a gate guard in the light heavyweight division of the UFC since 2013. In the first round, Hill would land hammers to the body of Ovens. After investing 10 body shots, Hill would begin to go up top near the final minute of round 1. Ovens would eat a flurry at the end of the first round, and Hill would come out even more aggressive in round 2. Like a shark circling his prey, Hill was getting closer and closer to the kill shot. Hill landed stiff combinations until OSP broke near the end of the second round. In his post-fight interview, Hill would come off as confident, not cocky. Hill's next fight would be against the Bear Jew Paul Craig, who was 14-4 at the time and a plus 220 underdog. However, you can never count out a submission artist like Paul Craig, who was here to test if Hill was able to stay safe on the ground. The short answer was no, as Hill would fall in the first round. Although Hill would taste defeat for the first time in his career, it was in truly glorious fashion. He refused to give up even after his arm was severely dislocated, while locked in a triangle and having his head bashed in by the Bear Jew.
He's going to go 50. He's got it. That's a wrap. Oh my goodness. Jamal's out. Is he out? Completely broken. Oh my God. Look at his arms just flopping around. And that's crazy.
He's going to stop the fight. Paul Craig finishes Jamal Hill in round 1.
That is so nasty.
Jamal Hill would realize the damage this loss caused him and would vow to make a statement in his next match vs the 13th ranked 12-2 Jimmy Crute. It was Hill's turn to play the role of underdog spoiler, as he was plus 150 according to the bookmakers. 20 seconds into the first round, Hill almost knocks the mullet off of Crute's head with a monstrous right hand. Crute was tough as nails and would make it back to his feet, only to be rewarded with a short right that would put him to sleep. Hill had recovered from the Paul Craig loss in spectacular fashion. Hill's next fight would be against 10th ranked Johnny Walker, who carried an 18-6 record. This fight would be Hill's first 5-round fight in the UFC, as it was the main event on the card that evening. Hill didn't need 5 rounds, Hill needed 1 round. Hill spent the first 3 minutes getting a read on Johnny's striking and learning his range. He then dropped a hammer that turned Johnny Walker into a wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man. In his post-fight interview, Hill would double down on himself and his future as a true prospect in the division. Hill's next fight would be against the 6th-ranked Thiago Santos, who boasted a 22-10 record at the time. Power and speed in the corner of Hill would be met by power and grappling in the corner of Santos. Hill would use kicks and range to keep his opponent at distance. In the second round, Santos tried to take Hill down, but Hill was unwilling. Hill displayed a technical striking ability that left Santos 1 step behind in the second round while eating shots. The next rounds were more of the same, with Santos trying to use his physicality to take Hill down, but Hill refusing to stay down for long. In round 4, Santos came out ready for war and landed a heavy shot on Hill. Sweet Dreams answered by turning up the intensity and laying waste to Thiago Santos. The fight would be stopped halfway through the 4th round. In his post-fight interview, Hill would ask for a title fight.
Hey, yeah, by the way, y'all gotta let that experience stuff go. Y'all ain't never experienced nobody like me. I've seen plenty like y'all, though.
And there he is, Jamal Sweet Dreams Hill.
He's poised for another big fight next, as he continues to earn his way up the light heavyweight ladder by not just winning, but doing it in devastating fashion.
The UFC was not ready to oblige the newly minted rank 7 Jamal Hill, but destiny had other plans, as Yuri Prochazka had recently vacated the title due to shoulder injury, and Magomed Ankalaev vs Jan Blachowicz being scheduled for the interim title. However, that fight would end in a draw, and the UFC would be forced to fill a light heavyweight interim title fight. Glover Teixeira was in line for a rematch against Yuri, but that was no longer an option for the aging veteran due to Yuri's shoulder injury. Who would fight Glover for the interim title? Who better than current rising light heavyweight star Jamal Sweet Dreams Hill?
A lot of everything. He threw everything at him. I mean, he hit him with everything.
Line him up.
Elbows,
coming, boy. Your
knees,
boys better
kicks,
be ready.
punches.